For centuries, lighthouses have stood as beacons of hope and safety, their lights piercing through stormy seas to guide sailors home. Their keepers, however, often faced a far harsher reality. Isolated, overworked, and at the mercy of the elements, the life of a lighthouse keeper was one of loneliness and danger. Few stories capture the sheer horror of this existence better than the tragedy of the Smalls Lighthouse in 1801. This remote lighthouse, perched on a tiny jagged islet 20 miles off the Welsh coast, was the scene of a tale so disturbing that it changed lighthouse policies forever. The Smalls Lighthouse was no ordinary station. Its design, though innovative for its time, consisted of a wooden hut elevated on sturdy oak legs to allow waves to crash through without destroying the structure. Yet, during storms, this design turned the lighthouse into a rocking, swaying nightmare. It was here that two men, Thomas Howell and Thomas Griffith, would face an ordeal that would push one of them to his breaking point. A job for the strong-willed. To be a lighthouse keeper required a special kind of resilience. The job came with no guarantees. Many lighthouse keepers were employed by private companies, and if the business collapsed, so might any hope of rescue. For Howell and Griffith, stationed together for a 6-month shift, the risks were clear. Their duties were simple but vital: keep the light burning and ensure passing ships avoided disaster. But isolation took its toll. The pair, who had clashed during previous assignments, were anything but friends. Their small living quarters offered no escape from each other's company. Despite their arguments, they managed to maintain the light. However, their strained relationship would soon face an unimaginable test. The nightmare begins. After 2 months at the Smalls Lighthouse, Griffith fell gravely ill. Howell did everything he could to help his colleague, but Griffith's condition worsened. Desperate, Howell raised a distress signal, hoping a passing ship might notice and send help. But the lighthouse's remote location meant rescue was far from guaranteed. Days passed, and Griffith succumbed to his illness. Howell, now alone, was faced with a terrible dilemma. Should he dispose of Griffith's body in the sea or keep it until help arrived? Throwing the body into the ocean seemed logical, but Howell feared being accused of murder. The two men's contentious relationship was no secret, and the thought of returning to shore under suspicion was too much to bear. Howell decided on a gruesome solution. Drawing on his skills as a former cooper, he constructed a makeshift coffin from wooden planks. Dragging Griffith's decomposing body outside, Howell secured the coffin to the railings of the lighthouse. This way, he wouldn't have to see the corpse in their cramped living quarters, and he could still prove Griffith's death was from natural causes. A haunting presence. The weeks that followed were a living hell. Storms battered the lighthouse relentlessly, and the coffin began to fall apart. As the waves claimed its timbers, Griffith's emaciated remains were exposed. Tied to the railings, the body swayed in the wind, and to Howell's horror, it appeared as though Griffith's lifeless arm was waving at him. Rescue attempts were made, but the ferocious seas prevented any boats from docking. From a distance, sailors saw the emergency flag and a figure waving from the lighthouse. Believing the keepers were alive, they turned back, unaware the waving figure was Griffith's corpse, not Howell. For 4 months, Howell endured this torment. The stench of death permeated the air, and every creak of the wooden beams reminded him of his horrific reality. Alone, surrounded by the relentless sea, Howell managed to keep the lighthouse lamp burning, a testament to his discipline, if not his sanity. Rescue and aftermath. When rescue finally arrived, Howell's ordeal was far from over. The sailors who came to relieve him found a man unrecognizable. Gaunt, haunted, and broken, Howell had been changed forever by his experience. His friends and family on shore scarcely knew him. The investigation into Griffith's death revealed he had succumbed to natural causes, exonerating Howell of any wrongdoing. Yet the trauma he endured could not be undone. A legacy of change. The tragedy of the Smalls Lighthouse shocked the nation and led to immediate policy changes. From that day forward, lighthouses would be staffed by at least 3 keepers, ensuring no one would have to face such horrors alone. This policy remained in place until the automation of lighthouses in the late 20th century. The story of Thomas Howell and the Smalls Lighthouse tragedy has since become the stuff of legend, inspiring tales of maritime horror and even the 2019 film The Lighthouse. It's hard to imagine the psychological toll of Howell's ordeal. 4 months trapped in isolation with the decomposing body of a colleague and the relentless sound of the sea as his only companion. Could you have survived? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling tales of survival and the human spirit.